Right, what are we going to face? Are we going to see the king pawn opening or the queen's pawn opening? Okay, my opponent goes for the queen's pawn opening. Let's strike this way. Maybe we'll see the queen's gambit on the board, or are they going to strike in the center? Okay, we have the queen's gambit on the board. And should I play this? Let's play this. Let's be flexible with our bishop. Let's play this move. Maybe we bring the bishop out and then play this. When the queen's gambit, I think playing this move is usually useful, but let's go here. Okay, I was thinking if I go here, my opponent can capture, and after the trade, then they hop in with this fork. But for now, there is no fork. Oh, but because of that, oh, that's also not good because my opponent just plays this move. I don't want to keep my bishop behind my pawn because I would love to play moves like this and play moves like this. And I don't like my bishop to be locked in. I don't like my bishop to be locked in. That's why I go for this. If I have to, I'll just trade here. If my opponent goes here, okay, they don't. Let's support our pawn in the center of the board, and we can also consider supporting the pawn this way. Maybe my opponent might be looking at moves like this, trying to put pressure over here. I think I have this move and I should just be okay. Do I want to play a move like this? And that looks like I might be asking for trouble with that. Okay, they don't do that. Let's do this. I would like to castle my king out of the center of the board. Let's castle the king. Okay, we have some kind of Catalan position here where if you capture here, this bishop all of a sudden just becomes a sniper. The bishop becomes a sniper. Okay, my opponent is here striking my bishop. I think I will do this. Okay, I think I have enough defenders here. Let's count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I have enough defenders here. I would love to kick this knight away. Maybe my opponent might be looking at moves like this to cement the knight. Okay, my opponent plays that. Now I'm really tempted to do this, but my opponent just goes here and my rook is lost. So I can't do that. And my opponent is hitting this pawn. Is this a move I'm looking at? Or do I just push forward? I think I prefer to push forward. But my opponent now is adding another attacker here. Makes a lot of sense, guys. Makes a lot of sense. If I capture there, that's asking for trouble. Looks like I might end up losing a pawn here. If I play a move like this, my opponent just captures, and after the trade, they will be up a pawn. If I push forward, this might get trapped. I'm looking at moves like this. Okay, maybe my opponent just captures. If they capture, I just capture this way. But if they don't capture and decide to proceed with this plan, I'm looking at this move. All right, let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. I think this move is better. We are going to analyze. I messed up the opening. I think maybe bringing the bishop here was just a stretch, was asking for too much. If my bishop was still sitting here, it would have been defending this with ease. It would have been defending that with ease. All right, let's capture here. Looks like I'm piling up there, but I'm piling up on nothing. Was going here better. Ooh. What if I had gone here? I think that would have been better because I'll be threatening to go here. Okay, my opponent just captures here. My opponent just captures there. Anyway, let's see what my opponent comes up with. Let's see what he comes up with. Okay, now that's just a fork. Now that's just a fork. My opponent just blundered the fork. This is defended, I guess. I think it is very well defended. Let's go here. Maybe my opponent might be considering this move, but I think my pieces are well defended. I think they are just well defended. If you capture here, we check. I just captured here. My rooks are looking at each other, so I'm not losing a rook. I'm not losing a rook. Okay. I think I really love to capture there. I think I really love to capture there, and I'm threatening to go there, checkmate. But the issue here is that my opponent is going to capture here with check. That is the issue. That's the issue here. My opponent is going to capture here with check, and when I capture here, maybe they pick this up, or maybe they capture here. Okay, I'm up 5 points of material. If my knight can come out, maybe I have no issues trading. Probably have no issues trading. Let's do this. I think my opponent is going to capture here because I'm threatening to go here, and that will be checkmate. That's a threat on the board, and a very serious threat, I guess. I'm also looking at checks like this, and then what? Because my opponent might be looking at, okay, let me go back. I think they might be looking at this, and when I capture, maybe they trade the queens. Okay, my opponent just blunders checkmate, and that's GG's. All right, that game ended very quickly. I played with 91.6% accuracy, guys. I told you guys that move is an inaccuracy. For one, my opponent can easily just go here, harass my bishop immediately, and they're already centralizing their knight. But they played a different move, and I just proceeded to develop, and very quickly I found myself in trouble. This is an inaccuracy. Why? Maybe the engine wanted me to bring the bishop back here, and now this move is coming with a lot of trouble. They are piling up here, and they are also adding another attacker here, and it yes, that was the best move. After calculating, I realized there's no way I'm saving this pawn. That pawn is doomed, and then I captured here, and I was just threatening to go for a fork here. I wasn't expecting my opponent to allow that. I was expecting my opponent to castle or what have you, but all of a sudden my opponent just plays this move, and that move was really surprising, as I just capture here with check, and then I pick up the rook, and in this position I play this move expecting my opponent to capture here, and maybe I capture here, and maybe they capture here, probably just gain a pawn. But my opponent didn't do any of that. Instead, they played this move, and I simply captured here. The reason I captured here is simple. I was just setting up this checkmate. What I was calculating here was if my opponent had captured here, and then I capture here, and then my opponent captures here, and when I capture here, my opponent gets 2 pieces, 2 rooks for the queen. But I realized that I'm already up 5 points of material, so I can afford to give them that, and I'll still be crushing. But none of that happened, as my opponent simply captures here and blunders checkmate in 1. All right, let's go. Who are we playing? We are playing someone from Bosnia, and I guess I'll leave the other name for you to pronounce. Okay, let's go for the French defense. And is my opponent going to trade? Are we going to see an exchange French, advanced French, or what are we going to see? Maybe classical French with this. Okay, let's capture here. My opponent is saying, bro, I don't want any confrontation. Let's just go for simple chess. Let's go for basic chess. Okay, maybe they are going to develop this bishop here, trying to stop me from developing mine there. Okay, now I'm going to develop here, stopping them from doing this. I think my opponent is scared of this pin. They didn't want me to hit them with this pin, so that's why they play that move. I'm going to castle, and if my opponent hits me with this pin, I give a check here. But now I'm going to copy my opponent's assignment. I'm going to say, okay, don't pin me, bro. Bro, do not pin me. High time I start bringing this over here. I'm looking at hopping a piece here. Maybe I should have done that earlier. All right, let's do it now. Ooh, guys, my opponent is looking at a trade. They're looking at a sacrifice here. And I'm just going to say, bro, bring it on. Bring it on, bring it on. If that's what you want, just bring it on. That's what I'm saying to my opponent. Okay, I thought they were going to do the sacrifice, but my opponent decided, oh bro, let's not do it. My opponent decided at the last minute they are not going to do it. Maybe they are going to play a move like this, and I'm already looking at this move. I am already looking at that move, and I think that move is good. So if my opponent plays a move like this, okay, I thought they were going to play that. I'm looking at playing this move. I am already looking at playing this move, asking this bishop to go away. Then maybe my opponent can capture here, and I'm losing this knight. I would love to be able to bring my piece here. So let's say I push forward here, and my opponent moves back. Maybe they move back here. Do I go here? Do I go there? Yes, I think I may have to go there. I also have ideas of doing this. So let's say I push forward. If my opponent captures, I capture. Okay, they can't take there. Let's do it. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do, but that's what I ended up doing. That's what I ended up doing. I wanted to push here first, but maybe not bad. Maybe not bad. Oh, well, let's say I go here now. Is my opponent not in trouble? I think my opponent just blundered. If I go here now, if my opponent captures here, I capture here, and this is in trouble. So, and this is also under attack. So what are they going to do? And if I go here now, if my opponent decides to capture, maybe with the bishop saying there's no trouble, I'm going to capture here. Now I'm asking some question here, and this is also under attack. So maybe they capture here with check, and then I capture, I guess. Then I capture, so let's push forward. Let's push forward. My opponent should be losing material here. My opponent should be losing material here. This is under attack. Once you capture here, one of your pieces would be under attack as well. And there is no in-between move like this. My opponent might be looking at, okay, let's say they capture here, And if I capture here, then they throw in this in-between move. There's no in-between move because I just capture with my knight and I'm chilling. So there's no in-between move. If you capture here, I'm going to capture here. Okay, now I'm going to capture here. This is under attack. This is under attack. If you move this one, oh my goodness, I missed that. I missed that. All right. Maybe not too bad, I guess. Maybe not too bad. Okay, they are going to move that. I'm looking at this move already. Just breaking open the king side. It shouldn't be bad. Doing that shouldn't be bad. Let's go here. I'm already looking at capturing here. If my opponent, maybe they push forward 2 steps, maybe they can do that. Maybe they can push forward 2 steps. But if they push forward 1 step, that's a hanging piece. That will be a hanging pawn. So let's see what they come up with. What if they capture here? I think I'm interested in capturing here first. And then I bring my pieces into the game. Capture there first and then capture here. Does that work? Maybe I remove that evil piece and say, bro, stop being evil. Then maybe I capture here next. Okay, my opponent goes 2 step forward. All right, now I'm looking at this move, trying to say, dear evil knight, what is your plan? And it looks like the knight is trapped, guys. The knight would be trapped. Let's go here. The knight is trapped. There is no defending the knight. My opponent might try a move like this, but I'm going to capture here with check. And once after capturing there with check, then I can move my knight if I wish to. Okay, my opponent might capture here. I'm just going to capture there, and I should be chilling. So let's see what my opponent comes up with. Okay, they captured there. Let's capture back. I wish I can switch this battery, just magically put my bishop here, and my queen is in front of the bishop. It would have been game over. It would just have been game over. If I can bring my queen here, but I can't. This evil piece is not letting me do that. The evil piece is not letting me do that. Maybe I should be looking at moves like this, but immediately I go here, I'm likely going to get hit with some nastiness over there. Right, my opponent might be looking at some captures here, and if I capture here, what are they even looking at? I'm not sure. Right, they are looking at this move, guys, but I don't think that move matters. I don't think my knight is a menace there. So let's go for trade. We are leading, so let's go for trade. My opponent cannot avoid that trade. That's not a trade they can decline. They can't decline the trade. If you play this move, my knight is doing a good job securing this, so I have absolutely nothing to worry about. So let's see what my opponent comes up with here. Maybe they are looking at this move. Can't I just capture there? I think I can just capture there and I should be okay. So let's see what they come up with. Alright, okay. Alright. I feel like capturing there first. Okay, I am interested in trading for sure. Because I'm winning, I'm interested in capturing. So let's trade. And then I'm looking at this move. Let's go here. Okay, maybe I do this. Okay, my opponent goes there. My opponent is just giving up material. There is no checkmate. My knight is an octopus. That's an evil knight. You're not getting rid of it. That's not a knight you are getting rid of. The moment you push a pawn like this with ideas of coming forward, okay, my opponent smashed the resign button. Let's analyze. Let's see what just happened there. All right, this one was not as chaotic as the first game. We had different defense on the board, and we proceeded to develop every pieces on the board. This moves is just to avoid getting pinned, so we both play this move to avoid getting pinned. And then I support my center. My opponent does same, and we just proceed with developing moves. And in this position, I already realized that I can just strike the queen, and I immediately went for it. And if my opponent captures here, I simply recapture, and I have the bishop pair, and I'm not complaining. My opponent doesn't want to give up the bishop pair, and I strike forward with ideas of pushing forward. This is usually a very good move in the French exchange variation. In many cases, this is a very good move, especially when the bishop is sitting here. In some cases, you might play this move and you just end up trapping the bishop. My opponent goes back, and the engine suggests I immediately captures here. For some reason, the engine thinks this knight is a very good defender of the king, and capturing there is the way to go. However, I just didn't want to give up my bishop pair. In this position, I was thinking if I should move here or go here. However, instead I mistakenly played this move. I already decided to play this move, but instead I mistakenly played this move, and that was the third line of the computer. I think the first line of the computer is to give up the bishop pair, capture this knight, saying that knight is a very good defender of black king, so just remove it. The second move, the second line of the engine was to play this move, which was what I actually decided to go for, but then the third line of the computer is to go here, and I mistakenly played that. And here I strike forward. My opponent just made a mistake here by moving this here, because now the bishop is trapped. If my opponent captures here, I simply capture here, and if they capture here, with ideas that if I capture here, they throw in this in between move, it doesn't work because my knight is sitting here, and I simply capture here, and I am chilling. So in the position, I already thought my opponent was losing a piece. However, my opponent strikes with this check, and when I move forward, they save their piece, and all of a sudden, I was so happy that I was winning a piece, but there was no piece anymore to win because my opponent had this in between move. They didn't have this in between move, but they have a different in between move which equally works. And then after this move, and I'm still winning here. You can see the evaluation bar is just completely winning for me. That's because my opponent king side is getting destroyed, and the attack is just coming on my opponent's king, and there's no surviving it. And in this position, this is just trapped. It's going nowhere. It is going nowhere. So my opponent just gave up the knight for 2 pawns, and then I strike here. I'm winning, and I just want to trade pieces, and I capture here. Then I go here, and in this position, my opponent hung the rook. My opponent thought, I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they wanted to go here, checkmate. But this knight is a nightmare, just stopping everything. And after I capture the rook, my opponent immediately resigns. All right, who are we playing here? We are playing Albert. Let's go for the tested and trusted French defense. Okay. This is, oh, that's bad. That's not what I wanted to do. That was the mouse slip. Instead of going there one move, I just give my opponent a tempo now, which is not too good. Tempos matters a lot in the French defense. Okay, I'm looking at capturing here, asking my opponent to capture here. Or do I just ignore that and try to play moves like this? Let's try to develop a piece. Since we already give our opponent a tempo, let's not complicate stuff too much. Let's just focus on developing our pieces and then castling. All right, I'm looking at capturing here. It doesn't seem to do anything. Maybe my opponent is waiting for me to move and then they capture. It doesn't matter. Okay, now I think I want to capture here. Now. All right, and then I castle. This bishop is a glorified pawn here, but the bishop is keeping my pieces together. So can I complain? I think I want to do this. I just want to make sure this knight can't get in. The evil knight wants to hop in. I want to stop the knight from hopping in. Okay, should I expect this move? I don't think so. Let's bring this rook into this open file. File is going to get opened very soon. So let's bring our rook into it. Okay, this is a good pawn break, and I think I should go for it. Else, I am just waiting for my opponent to find good moves, which is not something I think I want. So let's go for this pawn break. So we can put a bishop here. Maybe bring this bishop back here. All right, I think I'm okay with capturing this way. I'm already looking at this move, guys. Okay, my opponent can capture there. My opponent has so many pieces attacking that, so I have nothing. Okay, now I was thinking maybe they will capture here. Now this is just helping me. I think this is helping me because this would have been some lines for my opponent to just put a piece or what have you. Now I'm already thinking of doing this. I'm thinking of going here, asking the bishop to go away. Let's do this. Now I have some open lines towards the king. Am I complaining? Nah, I'm not. I'm tempted to just capture there, but then maybe I shouldn't capture there. Let's do this. Let me observe. Let me think before I move. I'm thinking of going here with ideas of coming here next and just trying to bring my piece into the attack. Let's do that. And the good thing here is that my opponent doesn't have any easy way to attack my bishop or attack my pieces. Okay, that's what they are looking at. I'm looking at this. If I go here, my opponent just captures. There's no need going there. Okay, now I'm tempted. I'm threatening to just capture here, taking advantage of the pin on this pawn. So let's see what my opponent comes up with. I'm really happy with my position. I am very happy with my position. I'm tempted to go here regardless. I am tempted to go there with ideas of still sacking here and going for this check with ideas of coming here, maybe give another check and then coming here and having a very good threat on the board. So let's go here. But if I go there, let's say I go here, I think my opponent is going to do something like this, opening an attack on my queen. Not something I think I want to see on the board. So maybe I should go here instead. Maybe instead of going here, I should go here. So by going here, I'm still setting up the same stuff. I'm still setting up the same sacrifice. But if I go here, my opponent can play a move like this, and they are defending their queen, hitting my queen, threatening all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to play this move instead. Let's play this. Let's see how my opponent responds. I'm very interested in capturing here. So maybe my opponent would respond by coming forward. Oh, they don't do that. Guys, can I just ignore and sack there? Can I ignore and sack there? And if my opponent captures, I have nothing. I'm looking at sacking here, going here, check. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. If I capture here, if my opponent ignores it and just capture here, what do I have? Looks like I have nothing. It looks like I have nothing. Because after all, I can't go here. I can't bunker. There's nothing free. If I go here, capture, my opponent captures here. If I capture here, double check. My opponent can capture and I have nothing, 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 nothing. Okay, so I guess I have to move this. Where am I moving it to? Where am I moving it to? I think I'm just going to go here. Let's go here. Let's go there. I'm going to move it here. If I go here, my opponent captures and I will be left with some very weird pawn structure. Okay, after all, I've been planning to sack here. I have been planning to sack there. Ooh, looks like my opponent just mouse sleep. I think that's a mouse sleep, and my opponent resigns. My opponent resigns. That's GG's. Right, it's time for analysis. I think that was an interesting game until my opponent mouse slept. I am very much interested in seeing what happened there when I sacrificed here. This bishop here is looking like a glorified pawn. However, it's usually good to put the bishop here in the French defense, and the bishop is not too bad and the position is just relatively equal now. My opponent develops their bishop and I strike in the center. Does the engine agrees with that move? The engine doesn't really agree with it, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it because the move allows my pieces to point towards my king side, and I'm just going to bring my queen into the game. And then after this move, in this position, there's something I want to show you. In this position, after my opponent strikes my knight, I decided to go back, and going back there is not the best move. The best move here was to capture here. And if my opponent captures here, then I come in here with a check, and my opponent cannot block the check this way, because if they block this way, I simply play a move like this, and my opponent is in trouble because the queen is under attack and I'm threatening to deliver checkmate here, and they just have to give up their queen here, and after I capture here, I'm just completely winning. But however, I missed this, and instead of sacrificing there, I decided to save my knight, and after that, my opponent centralized their knight, hitting my bishop, and in this position, I proceeded with this sacrifice, and here is just a brutal blunder, but my opponent just mouse slipped and immediately resigned. If my opponent had captured here, if I go here check and my opponent blocks this way, now I do not have this move because this evil knight is actually defending this square, and this knight is pinned but is actually also defending the square. Like if my opponent captures here now, if I capture here, looks like they can't capture the knight, but they can capture the queen, and if I capture here, they simply capture this way, and I'm just completely losing. But after this move, my opponent mouse sleep. But if my opponent had captured here and I give a check here, there's another interesting variation here. If I give a check here and my opponent doesn't block and move here, the game is just completely equal now, because I can give a check here, and if my opponent decide to go back, I just give a check here, and if my opponent decide to block now, I just capture the queen. If my opponent decides to block now, I just capture the queen, and after the trade, my evil rook infiltrates, and that's just a fork. I'm just going to get my piece back with interest, and the position is better for me. Guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.